I subscribe to this quote newsletter thing that sends me quotes from famous people every so often. I got one the other day that seems relevant for what I'm about to show you. It goes like this. Speculation is only a word covering the making of money out of the manipulation of prices instead of supplying goods and services. Yeah, well, here's an example. Car dealerships use every angle they can to maximize profit margin. In this video, I'm about to give you a core understanding of some killer tactics to prevent you from spending more than you have to on your next vehicle. What I'm about to share with you are strictly facts. There are no opinions here like you see in internet blogs or sites like that. So I'm going to kick this thing off with a few statistics to put things in perspective for you. Good old Yahoo says, one of the top 10 industries that received the most consumer complaints last year, 3 were auto-related. The Better Business Bureau goes on to say, new car dealers, used car dealers, and auto service and repair shops registered almost 54,000 complaints in North America. And this guy, you might have heard of him, Bill Gerard, AAA's Director of Financial Services, says, difficult times lead to creativity. People come up with sensational hooks to try and get you to the dealership. Once they lure you in, the goal is to sell you something and generate as much profit for the dealership as they can. But it gets worse. Studies have found that some auto dealerships charge higher interest rates or raise their prices to ethnic minorities, such as African Americans and women. Is that even legal? A friend of mine went to go buy a car recently, and the car salesman told him the only way you could sell him the car is if he financed through the dealership. Come on, are you serious? Since when has there ever been a law requiring you to finance your vehicle through the dealership? Last I checked, all businesses take cash, but according to this particular sales guy, you're not allowed to go to your own bank, get a loan, and pay the dealership money for the car. Does that even make sense to you? I hope not, because it couldn't be further from the truth. Here's my point. These shady tactics are used every day across the country. So how do you know if your local dealership is using them? Well, you don't. That's why it's extremely important to do your homework. So what do I mean when I say do your homework? Where do I even start? Here are the steps you normally might take when buying a new car. Figure out the vehicle you want. Go online, research your vehicle. Go to your local dealership and test drive the car, right? Go home and sleep on it. Go back to the dealership, finance your car at the dealership, and buy the car. Seems pretty straightforward, right? The statement I'm about to make to you next will shock you, so pay close attention. If you do the steps I just described, you'll be putting an extra $3,000 to $6,000 or more in your dealership's pocket, even if you're a well-educated buyer. Okay, so let me say that again. Even if you're a well-educated buyer. So, even if you have plenty of experience buying new cars, you're still getting taken by hidden dealer charges that you never even saw. Check this out. You've done your research. You don't know that much, but from the research you have done, you know to ask what the dealers call a customer invoice. This is what they'll claim they purchased the car for. You come in and say, well, let's not go back and forth. I want to pay $500 above invoice. They come back at you. Well, Mr. Customer, we can do this deal for you, but you know you're practically stealing this car from us, right? We don't do deals like this often, but since you've been really serious about buying this car, we want to show you how loyal we are to our customers. Let's just get this done for you. What you're missing here is that the customer invoice is not what the dealer paid for the vehicle. Here are a few factors you missed if you do this. Customer invoice is not dealer invoice. If any rebates go with the car, you just gave them to the dealer. It's like free money to them. And you didn't factor in holdback cost. Now, if I just lost you here, let me give you a visual. Let's say customer invoice is 20 grand. The car has a rebate of $2,000. Your holdback is going to run a certain percentage based on the car. Let's say it's $800 here. Now, holdback is simply a percentage of the car that the factory holds from the dealer until the dealer sells the car. Then they get that money back. And the dealer will often charge you for this and end up getting double the money back. Okay, so you purchased this car for $500 over invoice, which is 20 grand, so say an invoice is 20 grand. Here's what you just did. Now you've paid $20,500 for the car. You didn't apply any rebates, and you didn't apply a holdback either. So here's what you should have done. Your car is $20,500 minus the $2,000 rebate minus the $800 holdback equals $17,700 in this example. So $17,700 is what you should have paid for the car if you really understood what was happening here. In this case, your lack of understanding has a fancy little price tag at $2,800. You thought the dealer only made a profit of $500 when in fact he made a total profit of $3,200. Wow. If you asked a car salesman or a manager what they considered a good deal or a fair deal, here's what most of them would say. A good or fair deal is when the dealership is happy and the customer's happy. When both sides are happy with the deal, it's a good deal. Translation here, he's saying it's completely okay to make $10,000 profit off your car deal as long as you walk away thinking you got a good deal. Obviously, if you never found out how much the dealer made off of the car, then no harm, no foul, right? The problem is that most people do find out later how much they were taken for, and it immediately turns into hate or anger for that dealership. So here's a quick yet familiar scenario for you. Let's say your target monthly payment is $300. Let's say you just bought a car and the dealer made $10,000 profit on you. Now let's say you financed the loan through the dealer as well because he got you approved at a good rate. At closing, you walked away with a $460 monthly payment instead of your targeted monthly payment. Remember that $300 monthly payment you needed to be able to afford the car of your dreams? What about the good interest rate you thought you got approved for because the dealer told you it was good? When financing, you can roughly expect to pay $10 to $15 per $1,000 financed. Now let's look back at our sample scenario. They boasted a $10,000 profit off of you. You financed it through the dealer, and they gave you a slick payment of $460. Let's say you got lucky and for every $1,000 you financed, you only pay 10 bucks. So 10 times 10, which is $10 per 1,000, equals $100. So you got started with a targeted payment of $300, but since the dealer made an extra $10,000 profit on you, it just jumped your payment an extra 100 bucks. That's not even including the interest rate they probably inflated on you because you financed with them. Maybe if the dealer only made a $1,000 profit off of you instead of $10,000 profit, your payment would have actually been $300 lower. Why do you think the auto industry has such a bad name? Why do you think everyone hates buying a new car? Unless you arm yourself and do extensive research before you buy the next car, you're probably going to fall victim to this type of scenario each and every time you buy a new vehicle. Now, let's talk about what it actually takes to do enough research to prevent the dealership from paying their entire next month's rent from your one car deal. It takes a lot. The amount of information online about buying a car is not just overwhelming, it's frustrating. So go to Google and type the phrase, "I want to buy a car" in the search box. Your search results will end up about 94 million results. When you actually visit some of these sites, most of them are big corporations that spend a lot of money getting you here. You will also come across tons of blogs talking about buying a car. Now, that doesn't mean you're wrong, it just means the site's full of opinions. You need facts. Sure, you can get a new car quote at one of the many thousands of car quoting sites out there, but who do you think owns these sites? Sure, you can name your price at some sites and have dealerships fight for the deal, but every dealership has its hard cost on its vehicle, which means it's a complicated process for you if you bid too low. So what's my point? 9 out of 10 sites you ever visit online about buying a car get commissions directly from the car dealer they refer you. So how do they make money? The dealership gives the website their lowest deal that they will take for all the cars on their lot, which still leaves a lot of profit for the dealer, by the way. When you request a free car quote from a car website, it runs through their entire database and spits out all the dealerships that will take your offer. Then they send you to those dealerships. If you buy a car from the dealership they referred you, then they get a big fat check. How else do you think the so-called free car sites actually stay in business? Next, you'll run into a site that was written from a former car salesman or a veteran dealership owner gone rogue or something like that. They're usually not getting any commission from a car deal. They're really not even trying to refer you to a specific dealership from their site, which is good. Most of the time, they're giving you good, honest, and helpful advice on buying a new car. You've been searching for hours, your hands are getting tired, you're ready to do something fun at this point, and you can't because you're taking your family to buy a car tomorrow and you gotta prepare. You finally run across this type of site. The guy's showing you everything he's learned in the car dealership business for 20 years, and now you can apply it to become a master car buyer. Immediately, that feeling of freedom comes over you. You're like, yes, you found it. The key to successfully buying a new car without getting ripped off. Well, I hate to be Debbie Downer here, but you're not even halfway home to sealing a killer car deal for your new car. Yes, these sites do give you real valuable information. The key to this type of site is study, study, study. Think about it. Since the site is public knowledge, don't you think dealerships already know about it and have made the needed changes to their sales team to combat these statements? What they don't tell you is that you need to study the site very hard and be prepared for any misdirection the dealer sends your way. Since these sites are public knowledge, they expect most of their customers to come armed with the same knowledge, so they figured out a way to make money behind your back. As soon as you confront them about your newfound knowledge, they won't even argue with you most of the time. They'll praise you for doing your homework and even make you feel bad about taking money out of their pocket. In the meantime, they know they'll get you once you sign the contract because they have shadowed some hidden fees to make up for your newfound knowledge in buying a car. All that research, all that time for nothing. In the end, they still got you. There's just too much information online to know what is and isn't true. So here's some friendly advice. Stick to what you know. Hire experts for everything else. I mean, if you needed heart surgery, would you ask a close friend to study heart transplants for a couple of days because you need them to operate on you? Probably not. Better yet, if your family needed, new brakes, would you attempt to fix them yourself, or would you hire an expert to do it so your family is definitely safe when you drive a car? Hopefully your answer is clear. Either way, my point is your time's very valuable. Leave the unfamiliar stuff to experts. Figure out what your time is really worth. Don't try and do it yourself when you can hire an expert to do it for half the time at least. If I'm working on, let's say, getting traffic to a new site or something like that, I'll be the first to admit that I don't know a damn thing about SEO. I sure don't have the time to learn it, and from what I hear, it's complicated anyway, and I don't really do complicated. I just hire someone to do that for me because it's not worth my time. My time's worth more than that. If I drown myself in SEO stuff for the next 40 hours, there's no telling how much money I would lose because I'd be diverting my attention away from what I'm good at, and that's helping people. So it's much easier for me to hire someone to do that work and do a much better job than I ever could and get it done. Hell, I'd probably end up paying like $10 a click or something nuts like that, and the next thing you know, I'm nearly homeless from some weird mistake I could have avoided just by hiring an expert to do it for me. You get what I'm saying. So right about now, you're probably asking yourself, if every direction I turn is going to lead me down a broken path of uncertainties, what do I do? Need I say it again? Hire an expert. I hope that what I've gone over so far you understand. These are real facts, and if you use them, they'll save you tons of money on your next vehicle. Now I want to talk to you about Car Buyer Blueprint. Our service is very simple. You find a car, get us a copy of the window sticker stuck on that thing, or give us an image of it, whatever. We deliver you a no-haggle report that only has 3% profit built in for the dealer. Okay, so dealer's profit ranges from 3 to 5%. They're just like any other business. They have to make profit in order to keep the doors open, of course. We're not trying to get something for free here, but they don't have to make their entire rent from just your deal. That's what I'm here to prevent. So let me give you a quick backstory about me. I've become really good friends with car dealership owners over the years. One of them I played golf with regularly. A while back, he gave me a custom formula. He told me to use this formula every time I bought a new car. All I had to do was get the information from the window sticker and enter it into this formula along with a few couple, little other secret steps. Then it would calculate dealer cost of that vehicle and take out all the hidden fees, including the ones already printed on the contract that you think you have to pay but don't. I've used this formula every time I purchased a car, and it works every time. I don't even have to negotiate or argue when I get there. I just show them the report and they get the car deal started. It's that simple. At first, I helped out some of my friends, no big deal. But then something happened that I didn't expect at all. I started getting random calls from strangers asking me to do their car deal. I told them I didn't have the time really. They offered to pay me and asked how much I charged. I was really kind of taken back by the statements a little, but I really didn't have the time, so I quoted something outrageous number. I said $1,000. Done. I said, what? So you're gonna pay me $1,000 to do the car deal for you? He said, hell yeah. The way I see it is I'll lose more than that if I don't, and I need the lowest payment I can get. A new business was born then. Sort of. After a while, word got out and I didn't have enough time in the day to do these deals, plus do some of my other stuff. So I decided to up my price to a whopping $2,000. That didn't really help. He gave me about an extra 2 hours a day to play with that I didn't have before. Yippee. So then I decided to hire some people to do the work for me, and blammo. A real business was born, by complete accident actually. Since then, we've been rocking and rolling on helping as many people as we can save as much money as possible. So that's my story. So here's what I got for you. You get a no-haggle formula that calculates dealer cost of your vehicle. Now, this is not the customer invoice. Customer invoice means nothing. A dealer will not tell you what he paid for the car. With the right formula, though, you can figure it out. You get a printed report for simple presentation. Now, take it to the dealer and don't let it out of your sight, okay? If they ask to make a copy, don't. If they ask to take it to a manager, ask them to bring the manager to you. Don't let it out of your sight. They know what it is, and they're going to try and do what they can to make as much money as possible off of you. You also get the most recent hidden factory to dealer incentives for your vehicle. And these are ones that you can't find on a free site online, okay? These are ones that they actually are behind the scenes that you have to look up, you have to pay money for to get, and the ones that the dealerships will not tell you about, okay? Then you get the binder. Okay, this is what I call come prepared to save. If you bring these items with you, you'll succeed. I'll also teach you how to save thousands in dealer financing just by asking a single question. And I'll save you at least $3,000 to $6,000 on your best negotiated deal. I'm giving all this to you for such a low investment as part of a market test experiment I'm doing. See, I'm trying to reach as many people as I can, and I believe I can do that if I make it as affordable as possible. On the other hand, since others happily invest $2,000 every day for half of what I just listed here, I'm not sure how long I'll keep this offer up. I've already hired twice the number of staff I have now just to handle the extra workload from this little experiment. I've been known to have these little tests explode on me overnight, and I've ended up having to close down just to catch up on the work, so hopefully that doesn't happen here. Either way, you want to make sure that you make the investment now to secure your position just in case. The point of this entire market test is to see if I can reach double or even triple the amount of people I reach now and still keep the doors open. Okay, now it's bonus time. Hire me to work for you. Okay, and I call this priceless. And I say it's priceless not to put some stupid made-up value on myself, but because in the past I've charged premium prices from $2,000 all the way up to $10,000 to consult with others about everything I know about buying a vehicle, and I know a lot. I'm going to take you by the hand and walk you through every step I just described. So here's my promise to you. You will save thousands of dollars guaranteed off your best negotiated car deal. Okay, but first I want to give you a little reality check. The act of buying will not cause you to automatically save thousands. Don't expect everything to be done for you, which brings me to reality check number 2. This service requires that you actually do things. Shocker, right? On the flip side, I'll be right there with you through the minimum steps you do have to take to help me work with you. So here's the step that most people have trouble with. It's the same step that drains your bank account with small, unnecessary transactions that you don't even notice. Here's what I mean. A typical car salesman will usually try and hit you for about $20 more per month on your monthly payment. So if you say you want a payment of $300, he'll come back at you and say he has you at $320. And that may not seem like a big deal, but let's do the math. $20 times 60 months, okay, I'm just going by 5 years as the loan's worth, equals $1,200. So basically you just gave them $1,200 of free money. Now I'm saying this because this next step is a vital key to saving you thousands. And here it is. Click the order button on this page and make the small investment it's going to take you to save thousands of dollars you're throwing away right now that you don't even know about. Next, I'll send you an email with complete instructions to walk you through exactly what I need to work with you. Now keep this in mind, this only works if you're buying a new car, okay? We don't do used cars yet, it's only a new car. And that's it. So also keep in mind, you're going to be speaking with me directly to help you set up. That way I can assure your experience through this process is smooth. I'm going to leave you with one last thought. If I only saved you $3,000 off your best negotiated deal, wouldn't the cost of this service still been worth an investment of at least half that? That's money saved in your pocket that you don't pay interest on and lowers your monthly payment. Oh, and I'm sure you're wondering what kind of guarantee this whole deal comes with. If you can negotiate a lower car deal than me, I'll buy back your deal for the same price you originally paid. It's that simple. I invite you to click the order button now and let's get to work. My Car Buyer Blueprint can help you save thousands, but even if you decide that it's not a good fit for you, that's cool. You know, just use what I've taught you here today and you'll still save at least hundreds on your next car. And thanks so much for your time, and I look forward to working with you soon.